So I watched it last night. I'm really glad it's flopping, so I'll be able to watch it on Disney Plus for free, because this is definitely worth a rewatch. Now, before we get into the review, the fundamental problem with Tron is that it was made in the early 80s and was very, very simplistic. Do you remember Tron of the Time Lord? Right? If you're not a Doctor Who fan, I'm going to clip this out later. But you remember Tron of the Time Lord was a mid-80s Doctor Who, right? And at the end of Tron of the Time Lord, when the villain was revealed, his evil plan was to have a megabyte modem. A megabyte modem. Only you could be so evil, right? And it's a word that the writers, Pip and Jane Baker, heard, had no idea what it was. It was a modem. I'm not even sure people know what it is anymore. It's the thing that you connect with the internet with, right? But it was back then. The modems it was shaped so a phone receiver would go like plug into it, and you could go. That's what they did. It was very slow, right? It was very, very slow. So imagine now, 30 years later, basing a whole other thing on a megabyte modem. It'll be like, well, that's a bit silly. It doesn't make any sense whatsoever. Same thing with Tron. The basic premise of it is like detached from, well, obviously detached from reality, but like detached from what we all know to be reality, like colloquial reality, in that we know a laser beam can't fire at you and then zap you pixel by pixel into a cyberspace world. I don't think there was a word for cyberspace at the time. Maybe it was. When did William Gibson write Necromancer? It's all around the same time, I think. I think that's when cyberspace was first really invented, right? And then you can't use that same laser to somehow rebuild you pixel by pixel. It makes no sense whatsoever. But it looked cool and it was fun. You got Jeff Bridges going into like a virtual computer universe, and it was just fun, right? And then he met Bruce Boxleitner in there, and it was all pretty good. Then what was it, about 28 years later they made a sequel, and obviously it didn't do that well because it's now 15 years later they just made another. Right, but the sequel was Tron, what's it called, Legacy, was really mostly about showing how technology has moved on and reimagining what the computer world of Tron would look like in a modern day context. And I think it did that quite well, right? So this one kind of just completely sidesteps that second movie, right? There, I mean, it's good if you watch the original Tron before you watch this. But it does somewhat sidestep that movie. I'm not even sure the characters in it can even get a name check. I think Jeff Bridges' son does. But I think it's literally just like a blink and you miss it name check, right? So this is all new characters, and honestly, you could go from the first movie to this movie seamlessly with no problem whatsoever. And I would say, tonally, this is much closer to the first movie, the 1980s movie, in that it's a bit goofy and silly, but it's a lot of fun, right? It's a lot of fun, which I found a lot of fun. Thought Jared Leto was good casting for this for once. For once, having a weird detached, a space cadet worked. It was a good idea. So his performance. So it starts off, and it's the grandson, I believe, of who is it? Of David Warner, right? Who was the bad guy in the original Tron, right? So the grandson of David Warner, and his mother is inexplicably Gillian Anderson, right? And again, I remember Cillian Murphy was in the second one playing his son or something like that, and he was American. But now these Gillian Anderson, I think, is supposed to be English, and the guy's American. I'm not really sure. But okay, so it starts off, he's having a meeting with a like military, and he shows you all the stuff we see in the trailer that they can like generate they can use their special laser thing to build stuff from the virtual world in the real world, and they have a lot of like cute stuff with that. Like when anything gets built, it's got those the little bits that everything when you 3D print something, you've got to cut off all the little extra little bits. Like when you build a model, it's got that little webbing stuff. You got to click stuff off, so everything comes out like with all that little stuff on it, and it's got to shake it off, which I thought was quite good. And so I was like very impressed. And the most impressive thing is they have this security program called Errors, right? Who's basically this a super soldier, and they bring him out, and they're like, and if he gets killed, we just remake him over and over and over again, right? So then the point of the movie, and minor spoilers, right? And it doesn't really matter because it's so silly. Right, it's so silly, but it's okay. Is that they only can last for I think 9 minutes before they just kind of like completely collapse, and then they wake up in the computer world. So at the same time, we have this Asian woman. Here we go. We'll look at the character posters. Who was somewhat nondescript, and I can't really remember her name. She is somehow connected to Jeff Bridges' character, somehow. I have no idea how. But she also kind of like generates it. Be able to generate stuff from cyberspace into reality is a thing. But she can also do it with Flynn was named the character. With that company's technology. So you got what's it called again? I can't remember. Dillinger is the David Warner company, and Flynn is the Jeff. Dillinger's the bad guy. Flynn is a good guy, right? And she finds they're looking for the permanence code, this line of code that can make things made from the virtual world stay more than 9 minutes, stay forever. So that's basically the plot of the movie. You have her looking for it, and you have Dillinger looking for it, and he utilizes Tron Ares, I should say, his cybersecurity thing, that person, Jared Leto, essentially, to get in the chase to get this rabbit's foot, this MacGuffin. Now she's not particularly great. I mean, like, I found the guy who played his son in the last movie to be more relatable and better. She's not bad, but there's no charisma coming off her whatsoever, right? Much more who there is charisma coming off from is this woman. Her name's not Athena, it's something like Athena, or it might actually be Athena, right? So she's the first lieutenant to, like the second in command to Tron Ares. I keep saying Tron Ares, it's to Ares, right? Who is, like, again, this super powerful guy, but he's very subservient to Dillinger, the bad guy. This bloke, right? Very, very subservient to him. And doesn't really know much about the world. And during the course of the movie, he gets to see more and more about reality and who he's working for and what he's doing until, it's coming, but he's going to be forging his own path. And he ends up on the side of, again, spoiler warning, but it's not. And you can't see this coming from the opening frame, really. I mean, it's a kids' movie. That's the thing. Tron is a kids' movie, which is fine. He joins up with the good guys trying to get this code. So at one point in the movie, for an extended period, actually, they go to this old server, right? So he can enter in there and try and find this fabled bit of code. And when he goes in there, it's the 1980s Tron world, right? He goes, so it's very loving to that original 1980s movie, where I think the second one wasn't at all. Right? It genuinely cares about it. But I found all that stuff absolutely delightful. Jeff Bridges has a cameo. About 3-4 scenes there. Right? And again, it's as complex as the original one, which wasn't that complex at all. No mention of Tron whatsoever, or Bruce Boxleitner, which I think was a problem. I mean, like, at least he showed up digitally de-aged or something in the second one, right? I mean, I think he should have been like some kind of memory or something. They should have been in there some way. Maybe he's just retired. He's like, I'm not interested. I don't know. He's just like, I'm not getting that spandex again. That's for sure. But honestly, again, if you like the original Tron, I think this is as loving a sequel as one could possibly hope for. Quite frank. I'll tell you how loving it is of the original. Do you remember the 1990s Lost in Space with William Hurt and who else was in that? Oh, what's the name from Friends? Whatever his name is, right? But that really loved Lost in Space, right? I absolutely adored Lost in Space, and it was a very good representation of it in modernization of it. Bill Murray should have taken the role as old Will Smith, but other than that, generally speaking, quite good. So, is this any good? It's been panned by everybody. I don't see why. Again, it says it's building on very, very weak ground in that it's all about people getting zapped by lasers and sucked into a virtual environment, right? And then zapped back by lasers. It makes no sense whatsoever. But okay, this is how good it is. If you want to rate it, do you remember there was a rock movie that came out a year or so ago at Christmas? Let me pull it up 1 second. The Rock Christmas movie. What was that movie called? Not Jingle All the Way. It was 2024. Red One, right? And it was essentially, he was a head of security at Santa's grotto. And Santa gets kidnapped. It's like an action movie, but it's silly because it's like Christmassy, right? Archie Collins says, one of the things I heard is that the Mel Company head is pretty much the same character as the one from Alien. No. Was it Boy Cavalier in Alien Earth was, I would say, a well-rounded, completely bonkers, narcissistic character. This is just kind of like stock villain. He really is. He's pretty much the same as David Warner, right? Apparently, they never even approached Bruce Boxleitner. Well, I think that was probably a mistake, right? Apparently the rides are very popular. Oh, I bet they are, right? Tron Uprising was a good show, a decent show. I'm actually going to watch that now because of this movie. Anyway, so they had this movie, Red One came out. It was like last year at Christmas. It came out in the cinemas and died a death. Nobody was interested. No one was going to pay money to see that. Then Amazon put it on their streaming service for free, and it did gangbusters, right? The expectations for a movie that you go and see in the cinema are vastly different from a movie that you watch on streaming. So this is way better than that movie. This is way better than Red One, right? I wouldn't feel gypped if I went to the cinema to see it, right? So basically, Red Bull's hard like drive. Is it hard? No, because weirdly they're physically real. And they just like claps, right? I don't know. So it's not like that, but it don't look for it to make any sense because it really genuinely doesn't. So yeah, it was way better than Red One. I wouldn't feel gypped if I saw it at the cinema, but like this is really, if you watch this on streaming, if this movie came out on streaming and it was advertising, you saw it, you go, wow, that did a really good job, right? I don't get the hate for it, right? I wanted to listen to Nerdrotic's review after I listened to it, after I watched it. The thing with Nerdrotic is he just, I think he's, look, I am never going to intimate he's dishonest because I love Gary. I think Gary's great, right? I think I'm very happy for his success. I think it was very well earned. I was on board the Nerdrotic train when he was a small channel. I mean, bigger than mine. But he had like 10, 15,000 subs when I first came on. Now he's got like over 1 million. And like, good for him, right? And the content he produces is great. I liked it when it was just him in the old days, right? Now he always has other people on. Well, whatever. But like his, ISP, I think is the word we're looking for. His thing is to bitch and moan about current day media, right? I think that's why he's on the Piers Morgan and Critical Drinker, the same thing. That's the, and so again, I'm not saying he's being dishonest or disingenuous. I'm saying that the heart is the captain of the ship, right? And if it's financially deeply beneficial for you not to like something, you'll probably look on the dark side of it, right? You won't be that nicer. I think Carrie was hurt in his special place with the Rings of Power and New Who. I'm not sure how he was hurt. Okay, Rings of Power was freaking awful. I mean, see, I don't mind bitching about stuff that's shit, right? But bitching about stuff I thought it wasn't woke in the slightest that I could see, and I'm quite sensitive of that. I found it mostly harmless. That's the way I would describe it. Mostly harmless. Totally worth a watch, right? If you like Tron, it's totally worth a watch. It's not visually the same as the second one. The second one was much more dour and cool, right? It was like 2010. The second one had a very like Apple feel to it, right? When Apple was cool, right? This one is much more colorful, and I think more. What's the word I'm looking for? Tonally in tune with the first movie. And honestly, all the good bits you've seen in the trailers, which is like the computer stuff coming into the real world, like the light cycles, cutting up the police car. You saw that in the trailer. All that's really cool, right? That stuff really, really genuinely works. And I found that there's good set pieces, good action. Jared Leto's isn't like the most compelling star. The whatever her name is, the female lead, or the lead, I should say, is I found it reasonably dull. I found her not that compelling. I think the story was written well. Gillian Anderson was wasted. I have no idea how they got her on board for that role, which is, Gillian Anderson is a great actress, like a really genuinely great actress. I mean, when I say wasted, she, I'm assuming they paid her. She had a decent payday from it, right? And the Rent-A-Villain was okay. I mean, there's a very nice bit at the end. Again, no spoilers, where they're desperately trying to set it up for sequels, and you do get a quick look at the 1982 computer world version of David Warner's suit, which was a nice little throwback. I loved all the bit in the 1980s Tron world. I thought that was really genuinely fun, right? So look, for me, I thought it was a success, right? But I'm literally the only person. That kept, well, that wasn't bad, right? So I don't know. I would recommend seeing it, right? I wouldn't recommend paying to see it. Oh, the soundtrack by Nine Inch Nails, freaking fantastic. Much like the soundtrack for the last one, which was also fantastic. Who did the last one? Daft Punk, right? I believe the soundtrack for the first one was also fantastic. See, that really carries the first hour of the movie very well. The action set pieces with the incredible music. It's a really good soundtrack. So I don't get the hate, right? I don't get the hate for the James Gunn universe either. Man, I hope that's not about to be canned, right? My name's Tzvi Lebetkin, the Rabbi from another planet. Please like, share, and subscribe, and ring that little bell. Ring the little bell so you're notified when new videos drop.